Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, December the 31st. The last day of the month, the last day of the year, the day before a national holiday. Be careful today. Matthew 11:28, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. I thought that was an appropriate verse for the end of the year, because at the end of the year, you might be tired. You might need rest. Well, turn to our Lord Jesus Christ, and He will give you rest. Let's get into it. Welcome to the AM Briefing number 334, brought to you by microstrader.com, where together we trade better. So, tip of the day, you don't have to be in every move. Another high probability trade is around the corner. Just be patient. And you'll see that revealed when we go through yesterday's price action. News drivers today, not a whole lot. Fireworks tonight, holiday tomorrow, and then Thursday's the day after a holiday. So still have this shortened week type of short-term trader. We get too long, we get too short, with really nice movement. You cannot complain about the ranges, and expect ranges to stick around as the new administration is rolling into town. Next year will most likely be a more volatile year than it was this year, and you might have to change a little bit about trade selection, sizing, because you're going to have more ranges with larger candles. All right, so let's get to the chart. Let's zoom out just a little bit here. We're on a 1 hour chart here. And what I want to point out is, where are we really at? Well, we have our all-time high way up here. And then you could draw this little trend line here. And we did this on the weekend briefing. So sorry if I'm going to repeat, but we've got this little trend line. And then you could say, okay, did we depart from it? Yeah. You could say we went a little depart. And then did we depart from that line? Yes, we have departed from that line. So on a 30-minute or so time frame, I'm actually on an hourly chart at this very moment, but you could say we have went somewhat parabolic here, okay? But we are within a range. We haven't lost anything major. This 2850 is a really key level, and this 5866 is as low as bulls want to take it. I personally would love a little liquidity grab and come back in and let's go make all-time highs. Will that happen? I have no clue. We have this RTH low, we have a new RTH low, and we have a new RTH low, but didn't take this low. But we have made, for 3 days, a new low, a new low. But as long as we're above this 2850, the midline here, I'm at the middle, I say we're still in balance. On the low time frame, I still say we're in balance. On a high time frame, I still say we are up, and away. Okay? We've had a monster year, and we're in this huge chop zone. I mean, really big, if you look at it. So this 2850 and this 5866 are key levels. We get underneath there, this mid will turn red. But at this point, I still think we are in balance. Just those are the levels that we're monitoring. That's really as low as bulls want to take it. All right, so members, don't forget 30 minutes before the market opens, we will do our mental training. We didn't do it yesterday because price was so fascinating that I could not have focused on something different. And it doesn't look like we're in this shock and awe type of price movement today. So 30 minutes before the market opens, we will do our mental training. If you'd like to join us, grab yourself a Zoom pass or consider becoming a member. So when we popped on the AM briefing yesterday, we had already had a 73-point move south from the overnight high. And I said, what trade exists for me right now? And I said, no trade. This thing already had a monster move down. I'm not going to chase it. I'm not going to chase it. And in fact, sometimes I told this to the guys on Zoom yesterday that when I see a move like that, I go, the last trade I'm going to take is a short now. I absolutely will not take a short. And if it vomits all day long, I'm just going to miss it. I'm not going to chase it. I have found, as far as training my own discipline, I would rather wait for a turnaround trade if it's going to turn around. And if it continues laddering, I'm okay setting out the day. It's already moved 73 points from the overnight high, where the overnight range is typically about, do you know what the typical overnight range is? Typically, it's about 20 points. So this is almost 4x as big as a normal range with a monster vomit there. And we already took out the low. So I was not looking for a short at all. And that's the philosophy I went into the day with. And I told the guys, I'm not going to be shorting this. I'm not going to be looking for shorts. I'm going to just wait for a turnaround trade. And whenever we were there, in fact, let's go back real quick. I want to come back. It was here. This is where we did the AM briefing yesterday. Let me put on my strong levels. Our strong levels are really, for us, some of the building blocks we use to enter and exit trades, okay? So yesterday when we were here, I said, all right, is this the gateway to 5940? And here's the 5940 number. We had this strong range here. We have this strong range here. And we're going to judge to see what happens. So let's get caught up on the chart. Let's see what actually happened. And we'll talk about our trades. So this was the level that says gateway to 5940. We came to this strong range, played with it, came to 5940, came to this strong range, back tested it, came back to this strong, came back to here, and then had its run. So what did we do yesterday? How did we trade this? Well, let me turn on my AM briefing folder. Okay, so some of the notes I made last night. Let me turn these things off, turn this back on. So I missed this entire down move. Oh, well, what do I care? Then we ended up going 80, 90, 100 points from yesterday's high. I'm just not that interested. I believe it was yesterday I talked about how shorts are microwaves. Maybe it was in the weekend briefing. And they typically cook for a short period of time and then they run out of fizzle. And we are very good at watching when the fizzle ends and we start turning around. And when we were down in this area here, I am mapping out for my traders. If this happens or this happens or this happens, this is the long I want. And this is the long I took. And I actually captured a 50-point runner on this move, finally exiting when we got on this blue candle right here, when we got back under this strong level. So I used this strong range to help me enter, and then this strong level to get me out. And as long as we made that last little push, and I went, okay, I'm locking in my 50, which unfortunately happened to be right under the strong level. I wish it had been a little less, but no big deal. I took my 50-point runner and it was great. Then I called out this. If you weren't long, right here is where you could go long. I probably should have added. I wasn't ready to add, and I'll tell you why. I knew we needed to get over 9150. All right, this was a high time frame level on our chart, and I told the group, I said, when we ladder over 9150, I will aggressively add to my winning trade, because that's what we do in our group. We add to winning trades. So if you miss this long here, no big deal. We called out this as a second opportunity to get long, and what would that have yielded someone if they would have followed a 20 pointer? That's a great freaking day. And you move on. And then in the afternoon, we grabbed this liquidity, laddered back. I dropped in time frames, and I took this afternoon long literally right there. And at one point up 10 points, and then end of the day vomit there. Like, you got to be kidding me. Right back into this strong level. I told the guys last night, I said, the key is this strong level here. If we get underneath that, it should be watch out below. So if you're not in my group and you want to put these levels on your chart, 27.50 and 35, we get it underneath here, it is probably watch out below. And I provided targets for that as well. So what has happened in the overnight session? Let's go to a 10-minute chart. I actually kind of like the 10-minute chart in an overnight session. It reduces some of the noise. So what has happened here? Well, played with this strong range, tried to get over it, came back in, and then boom, skyrocketed up right next to the strong level. Had a nice reaction. We look like we're trying to get over it. So we basically have retraced half of yesterday's move. We are in the upper distribution, of course, targeting here. And then that 91.25, if you're not in my group and you want to put that level on your chart, go and put that level on your chart already. But the truth is, the only thing that really matters here is now the RTH high, right? So the RTH high is where we'll put our focus. Let me turn on my essentials indicator here. I'm going to turn off the strong levels. Let's reduce the noise a little bit. So the RTH halfback for yesterday is exactly its opening. So basically opening. So I'm going to put RTH halfback plus opening. Those are good levels to know for sure. And if we're going to draw an overnight trend line, what trend line would we draw? Well, you got to draw this one. And we're above VWAP and an upward moving VWAP towards this high. Now, remember, we've had three days where the low was lower than the previous day's low. Could this be a liquidity grab and a ladder back in? That is certainly what I would be looking for. So if you dropped me on the chart right now and said trade, well, I want to see what happens here. Will we have a turnaround trade like we had down here? We traded the turnaround. That is something we are really good at in our group. And I invite you to come watch us trade if you want to grab yourself a Zoom pass. In fact, you can get a free Zoom pass if you register for the free Foundations course, which gives you a glimpse into what we do and how we do it and how we think. So if you haven't gotten your hands on the Foundations course, which is, I can't draw all the way over there, but right there, go to Micro Trader and get your hands on that free course, register. You'll get a free Zoom pass. So where are we all at as far as indices are concerned? Well, let's flip over here. We look like we're all on the same train right now. Yesterday, Dow got back under this trend line, multi-day trend line, got back over it, had a bounce. And at this moment, where are we? So we're still above that level. We are certainly all on the same train right now. But the truth is, we're still inside of yesterday's range, but we're in the upper distribution with an upward slanting VWAP. It looks like we're kind of up, and away. And in fact, let's go ahead and do the bull bear line. Let's do the bull bear line. Overnight trend line. Well, that's pretty obvious, right? Overnight trend line's got to go to the bulls. Session stacking. At this point, I'm going to give that to the bears. We've had three RT8 sessions with a lower low. VWAP at this moment, you have to give that to the bulls. Overnight halfback, you've got to give that to the bulls. Yesterday's range. Now, right now, the bears overall control, because we've had those 3 daily lows of lower lows. The bears actually control. But if the bears can't create new lows, they're going to give it up. So yesterday's range, I still got to give that to the bulls. Yeah. Indices, at this point, I'm going to give it to the bulls. Bull bear line. What would be the bull bear line today? To me, it's probably that RTH high at 93.25. That 93.25 would be a great bull bear line. We get above that, we're probably going to continue going. If we just grab that liquidity and come back in for a turnaround trade, yeah. So I think the 93.25 is the bull bear line. At this point, I'm going to give that to the bears. And the risk of short covering is high. which puts that slightly in the bulls category. So I give it to the bulls at this point, but it is very it's like barely. It's not like a slam dunk because we've had 3 daily lows. Until we can take out a daily high, the bears are really in control. So why did the bulls win? Well, they keep fighting it. The bears cannot create a new backside. So it makes it very, very, very difficult for them, in my opinion, to win this. The bulls are still fighting, and it's probably this end of the year crap of people. And then you're going to have new inflows of capital and outflows. This week's going to be really interesting. But at this point, I do give it, from what I'm seeing on the chart right now, I give it to the bulls. But I'll tell you, they're not as ahead as this scorecard here looks like. But the overnight trend line, they definitely win. Session stacking, I give that to the bears. The VWAP, we're above the VWAP. Overnight halfback, we are above the overnight halfback. We're in the upper distribution of yesterday's range. All the indices have an upward slanting VWAP and are above it and in the upper distribution, and if not above yesterday's high already. Yeah, I think that's an accurate scorecard. The bulls are ahead, but the bears control. You know what I mean? The bears do control. We need to get over a daily high and close above a daily high. Otherwise, as I said earlier, if we get under that strong range I gave you, which is where, let's just do it real quick. Yeah, the strong range down here, 35 to the 27.75. We get underneath there. It's probably a watch out below to those other key levels that we talked about earlier. I wish you good luck trading today. I can't wait to see my traders live 30 minutes before the market opens, before our mental training.
Stay green, my friends, and to learn more about our group, go to microstrader.com.